I didn't know we were on. Okay.
We thought we weren't being recorded anymore.
So item 6 is moved down between 9 and 10. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who seconded it?
I did.
China.
The agenda is adopted. Prior minutes from 5/12/21. We have a motion to adopt those minutes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion and a second. Any questions or corrections on the minutes? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are adopted. Public comment. And the number is 538. What's the number for call-in?
I have no idea.
I always have that on my desk at home. I don't care. Outside.
It is not on the agenda, so I presume it's the same number.
He would know if I go ask.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, that got moved to later in the agenda, so.
That's fine.
He says he's in a meeting. Is that our meeting? That's why he has that note on his door? Or?
I don't.
Wait,
I don't think we're live. I don't think we're live.
We're not, then there's no sense in giving the phone number out. Okay.
Well, it's 538-2311, but there would have to be an extension, and I don't know what that would be. Get out here.
There's a different 4-digit that we gave.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's on that phone.
Five three eight 1770.
Thank you.
For any public comment, call 538-1770.
No extent.
We can always count on Randy.
I had to go back on some old minutes.
Right guy. So, all I got is searching,
I'm assuming we can move on to the next one.
There you go.
Number's on the screen, by the way.
Okay.
Is that the right number?
Yep.
1770?
Same one, yeah. Now we're cooking with gas.
Something is wrong here.
We can move on to item 7 while we're waiting for any public comment.
Sure.
Approval on countywide strategic plan from emergency management.
So I'll let Emergency Government Director Dustin Stevens, this is something annually that we do?
Yeah, this is a plan we have to have.
Hit that button on your mic there, Dustin. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the light doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh,
That we have to we have to update it annually. It just basically says how the county will deal with a hazmat situation, and it sets forth, or basically says, the county has to have a local emergency planning committee and what their responsibilities are in the county. So I went through and updated it. It was mainly just some date changes, some name changes, and hazmat planning facility changes.
was that, did you guys get that in your packet? Okay, because I don't see it in the one here I got. Okay.
I'm not getting, my email is not working down here. I get all this.
I'll move
I get
it
ready
down
now.
to the updated strategic plan.
Okay. Motion by Dan to approve the countywide strategic plan. Is there a second to that?
Second, yes.
Second by Mr. Ziegler. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Countywide strategic plan is approved.
When we get to the money part. Okay.
Do you want to handle that promulgation statement separately out of there? Because it takes our individual signatures on that.
I have it.
All right. That is a part of the plan, correct?
Yep.
That we just adopted?
Yep. This here,
No, I haven't done that.
What's that called?
this is your virtual access here.
Oh, darn.
Our email's working, 'cause I haven't gotten any.
It was working at home, but I.
My email.
You know, your username and password are the same as you getting on your computer.
Oh, wait a minute, now what?
Your username will be your last name and first
Yeah,
initial.
I've got it.
Oh, you're still not moving for some reason.
Oh, I didn't, this is incorrect.
All right, so put your cursor in that field, or the next field, that one up there.
Trying
Okay. Then just tab down, that'll take you to the next field. Now type in your username, that's your last name and first initial. Same thing.
You lost me, Sheriff. Wait,
Okay,
right?
so username now is, so type in your last name and first initial.
All right.
And then tab. Hit the tab key, and then your password.
The Tim Robertson was playing my friend today.
And then hit enter, there you go. So it's connecting, just to give it, should see if it gets up to 90-some% here. Okay, so hit OK. So now, I just wonder what this is. Click that arrow there.
I'm just going to get rid of it.
You gotta have one or two choices in there. That's why you gotta select the arrow. There you go. Now try the personal VPN.
You're wasting.
There you go. There you go. Now, why don't I just select that?
You won't do it. Go ahead. See if you can get
Your
it.
microphone's on. Your
Yeah.
the username and stuff on there.
Okay, so you don't have a choice there. So if your username is typically your last name and first
Yeah,
initial.
well, let's try that again.
And then the password that you always use.
Okay. Moving to item number 8, resolution for Sheriff's Office Vehicle Expense Account 2021 budget remaining fund balance from general fund request.
So we're gonna test the system here today because the G and H drives are down. The way I understand it, Paul is not able to get to the template to create a resolution. But this is what I want the resolution to say. We just don't have the template. So what this is during the budget process last year, we reduced my squad car budget from $140,000 to a number to $26,302 less than that. We adjusted it by $26,302 so the county could meet a zero tax increase. We didn't want to reduce the burden on the tax levy. And then it was discussed then that at the time that I'm going to buy my cars, I would come back and request that balance from the general fund. And the balance is $26,302. So can we act on that without having the official sheet in front of us of a resolution and just have him type it up at a later time? And
We did it before we had the resolution sheet.
so, okay, so I'll read through this and then you guys can do what you wish. So, whereas the Trempealeau County Sheriff's Office maintains a fleet of vehicles to be used to provide law enforcement services to Trempealeau County, and whereas Trempealeau County Sheriff's Office has established a non-lapsing fund account, number 52106, for annual Sheriff's Office vehicle replacement, and whereas the Sheriff's Office vehicle fund account was reduced to $113,698 in the 2021 budget from $140,000, so as to avoid the need to increase the county tax levy, and whereas the cost of the next year model of police vehicles commonly used in law enforcement has increased $3,500, and whereas the original budget amount requested, $140,000, is consistent with the 2020 budgeted amount, now be it resolved that the Trempealeau County Board of Supervisors approves a transfer of $26,302 from the general fund into account number 52106 vehicle budget. And then obviously the fiscal impact would be a one-time transfer of $26,302 from the general fund. Just a little story on the increase. So 2 years ago, the Ford Explorer increased $3,500 to $35,500. I found that the Durango police vehicle, which was a new model at that time, was about $32,000. In 2021 now, that vehicle has gone up to $35,000 as well. So we're not realizing any savings by purchasing the Durango anymore. So typically I have to order 4 to 5 vehicles a year, and in order to do that this year, I would need that $26,302 put back in the budget, so.
Move to approve the resolution.
Okay, motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it, but I got one question for you. This 140,000, then will that be a yearly budget that'll stay back at 140,000 then?
That is going to be my budget request, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is just a one-time transfer, and next year you'll be asking for the full 140?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't ask until the vehicle prices go up again.
Right.
So what I've been doing is, instead of trading vehicles, I've been selling them on the Wisconsin surplus auction site with great success. So I don't foresee a need to increase above the 140 anytime soon. So
Okay.
unless a drastic vehicle increase comes in again, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's carried. Damage to deputy squad not covered by insurance.
Okay, so that's that stapled packet that you have in front of you. Last year in October, a deputy who lives in the Galesville area, while his squad car was parked in his driveway and the deputy was not on duty, a member of his family backed into the squad car and caused whatever amount damage you see in the estimate there, 2,600 or, yeah. His insurance would not cover it, telling him that it's his company's vehicle, therefore they do not cover it in his private property. And I guess that's probably debatable, I don't know. But I don't know if you see the letter from his insurance company, is that there
Yep.
too?
It's there.
So in any regards, we just had that vehicle fixed, and I paid for it out of my vehicle damage fund, my squad car damage fund. And I don't think it's up to me whether or not we want to make a civil claim against the deputy for this. I think that should be discussed at the county government level. So I'm just bringing it to you guys to make you aware that happened. And then if you want to move forward with trying to recoup the expenses, that would be from this committee. So that's why it's on there.
I got a couple questions. Well, let's limit it to one question. There are, throughout that packet, pages with totals in 3 different areas. What's listed as page 3 of 4 has a net total of $3,797.43. Then what's listed as page 2 of 3 later in the packet, there's a parts and material total of $777.03. The next page, 21/14/26, and the last page 2 of 3 in the packet, $79.87.
Okay.
So,
I just got to take a quick look at the first one. So those are 3 separate crashes.
yeah,
2 of them are car deer accidents.
Oh.
I don't know why it's in that packet.
okay.
So,
There's the first.
and just, let me see the first sheet of that. I don't know why she didn't print one for me.
But there are 3 different people, 3 different
It's the same deputy, same car, 3 different crashes. Yeah, well,
Deer season on one, for sure.
my supervisory team and I dropped the ball on this one. These were all reported, but we never prodded them to get it fixed, type of thing. It's kind of put on the deputy to make the arrangements to get their cars fixed. And 3 of these lapsed without them getting repaired. So, why am I not seeing the total here?
Well, basically mine is
Yeah,
One is $3,800.
that is the one. I'm just double checking here.
The big one is the one?
The 30-some pound, yeah.
3797?
Yeah, because it was the right door, the right fender, yeah. That would,
Who drove into the car? Wife?
yeah.
You see David Lingen's.
Yeah, he's the one that he did all this investigating, so.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe he hit another deer.
No, not David. He hasn't hit one in quite some time now.
Yeah. He still has the record.
So the amount, the claim is the one that has $3,700. That would be the claim in question here.
All right.
I think that's the first estimate in your packet.
Is that the one from Scott's Auto Body in Strong?
Yeah, all 3 of them are from Scott's Auto Body. He did all the repairs at one time, but he was able to separate them out for estimate purposes.
Okay.
What's the thing from Fowler Jacobson?
Yes, there is, yes. Where is that?
That is a previous car deer.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are under our deductible, but we cover that, so.
Okay, yeah, I was, when you said that,
Yeah.
that the other place up in David had done it, I wasn't sure then.
Yeah, it's the Scott's Auto Body estimate for $3,700 and some odd dollars.
So Sheriff, I'm confused now. So what do you need from this committee?
I'm making you aware that we did not have an insurance claim on this, nor did the property owner who was responsible for this have an insurance claim. I paid it out of my budget, but I think it's fair to me to bring it to the committee to decide whether or not they want to file a civil claim to recoup that cost
And we'd be filing a claim against whom?
against the deputy or his homeowner's insurance, or, yeah, it could be against the deputy, basically.
Says homeowners Wisconsin Mutual.
I don't know if that's his homeowners or if that's his auto policy. And I guess I should have asked him if he's tried to file a claim with both. I don't know that he has or not.
Is the deputy Dave Lingen or is it
No,
somebody else?
Jim Williams, Deputy Jim
Williams,
Williams.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
I guess, maybe a
find out
logical
if he
step, would be to ask that he file a claim with his
yeah, so you
homeowners.
could see if he can file with his homeowners and see what all he can get done on his own.
You can also file an appeal, that
Right.
you don't agree
That
with
would,
this.
that would be up to him though, wouldn't it? Not up to us?
Well, it'd be up to you if they're denying the claim.
His insurance company's denying the claim,
insurance
not
company,
ours.
okay.
Yeah, we didn't even file it with ours yet.
Yeah, he needs to file an appeal then.
Yeah. We could file it with ours, and maybe we have to, I don't know, but it's under the 5,000 deductible, so I have to pay it anyway. So,
I would think to ask him if he would file it with his.
I'll clarify with him what he has or hasn't done.
But I think at the risk of setting a precedence, we need to try to recoup the loss. It's not the county's responsibility, since it wasn't the county doing the damage.
Yeah. And this is a first, I have never heard that because it's a company vehicle in his private lot, his private insurance don't cover it if his own vehicle backed into it. That's where I think the appeal would come in.
Yeah.
Did they
that
pay
don't
for the
make any
damage
sense to
to the vehicle he owns?
That I don't know. Interesting, a municipality where I am on a village board right now had that very same thing happen, and the personal insurance did cover the damage to the personal vehicle. Very same incident, so.
It sounds like the insurance company trying to escape, paying claim here, doesn't it?
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, hard to believe that, but
Well, yeah, Well, one of my
Better
kids
write
hit
that
my
one
car.
down. That's for
One of my kids hit my car and our insurance was getting paid it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do some more follow-up with him then and maybe recommend that he, can we recommend that he appeal without taking action, or?
I think what we can do is ask him for $3,700 and some odd dollars, and
Yeah.
how he wants to come up with it is up to him. 'Cause I
That
don't
would
know-
give him a little bit more leverage going to his insurance company too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you could, I think, have to agree with Mr. Schreiner, you know, the county does not really, I mean, the county should not be in the position of absorbing a loss. That's not the county's fault. So, somebody has to pay for it, and it shouldn't be us. And it would kind of leave that on the deputy to find a way of expediting that.
I mean, if we have vehicles going home with deputies, which I understand why, I think we have probably a few departments where people are doing that. Do we have a countywide policy on this kind of situation? Or do we need one?
People do that all the time, though. and a
Yeah.
lot of-
Fortunately, we don't have many claims like this where maybe we wouldn't know that answer without looking now. I mean, we wouldn't have reason to go look until something like this happens.
It just seems strange that his insurance would not pay for their vehicle backing into, I mean, I understand why they don't want to.
Yeah, well, I like I'm in the habit of saying, insurance companies
They're gonna look.
aren't into paying claims.
Yeah, right. They're gonna look for any way to weasel
Collecting.
out of it, so. I-
They're into collecting premiums.
Right.
Because she's not an employee of the county, so it wasn't her vehicle, she wasn't in custody of the vehicle, he was, but.
Right.
So if he'd have been on the street with the car, would that have been different? Yeah, I would feel.
Well, if he'd have been driving down the street at the
Did she
moment
hit
his
him?
wife backed out of the
Yeah.
driveway and hit him, then it's different. But if it's parked in the street, a vehicle coming off a private property striking a legally parked vehicle in the street is not a reportable accident. So whether or not they'd have covered it, I don't know. But I don't know if it matters where it was parked. But if it's an operation, then it makes it different for whatever reason.
I gotta believe that the county has insurance to cover the county's property for damage. But in this situation, I don't think
Yeah.
we should have to make the claim on our insurance company.
And maybe another option is to let the insurance company do that, but it's under the deductible, so we pay it, the insurance company's out anything, they're not gonna go after his insurance company anyway. I
It's
wouldn't
gotta
think
come
so.
from him.
Typically, if our insurance company, say if this is high enough, our insurance company had to pay something, you know they would make an effort to recoup their losses.
If it was
from his.
$10,000 in damage, they go after it.
Right.
What's the scoop nowadays? Can you actually see $3,700 worth of damage?
Yeah, that was pretty, that was pretty obvious on that vehicle,
Stop
so.
your car, hit your car,
Yeah.
it's 3,700.
Yeah.
A crack in some plastic.
Yeah, you get over 1,500, you might see the little ding or something, but 30, this was pretty significant. And it was
Back in,
not sightly. I didn't like the way that car was looking.
Oh, okay.
So,
back in 2005, in a personal vehicle, I hit a deer. It was $1,850 worth of damage, and I couldn't see it.
yep, yep. Things break behind those bumpers and,
It was a headlight housing and just a crack.
yep.
The deer laughed.
I got you.
Okay.
All right, so I'll follow up and then report back.
Okay. Item number 6. Resolution 2021 Budget Adjustment, Adult Diversion Supervision from Human Services to the District Attorney's Office.
I did not, I forgot. I thought I had printed copies, but I
Oh,
didn't, so.
So I'm gonna hand, everybody gets a copy of that.
They did see the resolution on the computer, I think, right? So,
I have the only successful attempt.
as long as I got
today,
5, that's good enough, and I do, so.
And I have.
I have one on
So I
paper.
don't know who.
These here, do you have these on?
No, I do not have that. I don't know what that is.
Thank you.
I gave up on this. I don't think it's working.
Yeah, you, I would get in touch with Tim, you have to use that Porta Client to get in any files.
Break it up.
with the sheriff's
But it
office. Oh, your
starts-
G drives are down too.
It starts, it goes to 45, I tried it 3 times, it goes to 45% and
You
then
need
quits.
this back because
No.
they involve an employee, okay.
That's all been redacted, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that, something with the credentials then, when it does that, I think.
have to do.
Well, I think he was still, whatever part broke, he sent out an email, it's not fixed, he didn't think it would be fixed to what, Wednesday afternoon or
Right.
something at the earliest. So,
Thank you.
I don't think something's working here.
So the documents that the sheriff is handing out is some backup, information on how we're going to pay for the change that we're proposing to make here. So first, let me explain a little history and how we got to this place. Mandy's here from the district attorney's office, and so in somewhere around 2006, long before I was here, the county got a grant that paid for a position to do diversion and recovery court. And in 2012, Jerry Marsalic was a district attorney, the grant was expiring, and she said, I don't want this in my budget anymore, because that was all in the district attorney's office. She said, I don't want my budget anymore. My predecessor, Jeff McIntyre, agreed to take it on, so effective January 1st, 2013, he took it on. There was enough money to get in the grant to get us through 2013, and then Jeff retired a few months later, and I start the 17th of July, and I have to have a budget to my committee by the 12th of August, and I got to figure out how in the heck I'm going to pay for this without a grant. So what we did is we planned to write a grant, but we knew if we didn't write the grant, we would likely be on the hook for 26 weeks of unemployment, because as you may or may not know, with the county, we don't pay any unemployment insurance, but if somebody's ever on unemployment, they have to pay us back, or we have, the state bills us for that. So I had to set aside at least enough money for 6 months of unemployment insurance. And the only way I could do that was to take levy from Children and Family Services and from Mental Health Services to make that happen. So we write the grant. The grant turns out it's only for the recovery court portion of it. So that's helpful. We get that paid for. And then we use the levy that we had set aside to help pay for this diversion piece of the program. We collect a few fees in that, and then we have paid for it with a levy that we took from our other places in our department to do that. So to be clear what this diversion piece of it is, the district attorney, when they do their prosecutorial work, sometimes they can offer diversion to individuals for all kinds of reasons, and I'm not going to pretend I'm a lawyer and explain many of them, but there are times that makes sense, and oftentimes it's in the form of a deferred prosecution, so there's other ways it can be done as well. And so that's certainly within the district attorney's authority to be able to do that. Once somebody's deemed to be on the program, then you need somebody to kind of meet with them each month, collect their fees, collect their restitution, make sure that they're doing all the stuff that their diversion agreement says they're going to do. So that's the piece Human Services has been doing. Well, over time, again, different district attorneys do things different ways. That's what they're elected to do. In 2017, because we were really getting beat with this, and this really was only supposed to be a half-time position, that's all we've ever been able to fund for, the Human Services Board put some guidelines on in terms of the type of program it would be, that we wouldn't take felons unless there was law enforcement approval. People could only be in the program 6 to 12 months. We'd only take so many cases per month, stuff like that. And so that worked for a while, but now the program has grown substantially, and we are well outside those guidelines, and the district attorney's office said that's what we really need it to be. And so we're kind of in this awkward struggle between what we can really do as Human Services and what the district attorney's office really needs to do their work. So it makes sense to just move the dang program from Human Services over to the district attorney's office, the supervision piece of it. The only issue we ever had was how do we do that, because it doesn't make sense for our department to give up our levy to do that. So the proposal you have in front of you is, first of all, to make that switch from moving that supervision piece of it over to the district attorney's office. We did some research a few months ago, and about half-ish of the counties across the nation that do this program, about half use a social services, human services type of agency, and about half do it in the district attorney's office. So we're not going to really be out of line or doing anything highly unusual that way. So what we did is we're proposing for this year to make that transfer, and then we are proposing that there's a new TAD grant out that we'll be writing probably in the next month or so. And we would be proposing to write for recovery court and then add this diversion program onto it. The state has quite a bit of more money in the diversion program, or in the TAD grant program, so I feel that that's, I feel reasonably optimistic that we would be able to get that funded that way. So of the documents you have in front of you, I'm going to show you the first one that says proposed transfer. It has some numbers on the top of it. And so I put down some example hourly rates of people from our department. The top one is a supervisor who's actually currently doing it. Another one is a lead worker, and another one is an experienced social worker. The district attorney's office can hire at whatever they wanted to hire at, but I just wanted to start with these numbers to kind of give you an example of how we can do this. So the wages from September 1st to the end of September are shown there. The roll-up benefits, which are retirement and FICA, which are percentage of wages, are shown, and then the health insurance for family coverage are shown. So it shows you the full total. So the most it would cost would be $33,307, or maybe something less. So the way we're planning to fund that, and if you look at the other handout that I had that looks like a page from the audit, because it is a page from the audit, shows you about 3/4 of the way down. These are, there's some reserve under the human services column. There's $31,857. That's in a non-lapsing account. It was set aside for justice sanctions. This was set aside, this account was set up, again, around 2006 or so through a resolution. And because they were relying on these federal grants, they said if there's any money not spent at the end of the year from the grant, we'll put it in this non-lapsing account so they can use it the next year. So that was sitting there. I didn't even know that resolution existed until we created a justice unit in our department, because prior, from 2013 to 2017, I actually supervised the person doing the diversion and the recovery court. So we created a justice unit. Well, once we did that, when the audit came out, all of a sudden there was $20-some thousand that went into this account. And I said, what is this for? And they said, well, we have this old resolution. So what we did is we created another resolution and said, we're not going to put any more money in this account. We'll just leave this account here. And that went through the county board. So that $31,000's been sitting there for a few years. We, in our department, I don't have any reasonable need for it in the next few years in the foreseeable future. So we would propose, again, if you go back to the first budget sheet, we would propose to move that $31,857 over to the district attorney's office. And then for the diversion program, we also collect some fees. Again, the fees kind of vary based on the people's ability to pay. But so far through June, we've collected $3,150. So if you add the $31,000 and the $3,000, you come up with $35,000, which is more than the highest cost up on top that you see. We have budgeted for those fees so far this year $7,500. So if we collected the whole amount, he could collect. There could be possibly close to $40,000 available. So we could make this move. It would not be harmful to our department. It would be helpful to the district attorney's office, because then they could have a full-time person doing it versus a part-time person doing it. And so that's the proposal that's in front of you. I've given you a ton of information. I'm sure I've missed some really important points, so what questions do you have? And Mandy's here to confirm that the district attorney's office is all on board with this.
That was a question I had, but you just answered it.
This has come before the Human Services Boards a few times over the past few months.
You got your mic?
This did come before the Human Services Board a few times. The diversion program has been something that's back and forth on the Human Services Board for a few years. So as somebody who serves on the Human Services Board, who's somebody who actually for a full-time job works within the criminal justice system in a capacity, I feel this is probably entirely appropriate, and everybody else on the Human Services Board agreed, so.
Will this require additional personnel in the DA's office?
We'll have to create an additional position, but we have the funding to be able to do that without asking for any levy.
It would mean more to me if it was coming from the DA's office.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to have a position, a full-time position added.
Yeah, who's currently doing it in your department now?
Wayne Opitchka's been doing it.
Is that a possible transfer then because they're already
Possible.
doing it?
Possible. He's been doing it since 2019 after Pat Bell retired.
Okay.
I guess that will be Wayne's choice, because we will still keep a supervisory position in our department, so he'll have the choice of what he wants to do.
I'm just thinking as long as he's trained in it already, that would be a possibility to be a good fit. But,
So Deb, what you're telling us is, with monies available, we've got the rest of this year covered in the DA's office. After that, it's a budgetary item that the board would have to take action on because we don't know if there's going to be a grant, and we don't know what will be available as revenue from fees collected.
I
So
think,
the
I think the
figure-
fees collected will probably, typically, we collect close to $10,000 a year. The reason this budget is lower, of course, is because of COVID. But typically, there's fees are about $10,000, so that's been pretty consistent over the years I've been here. And then, yes, we'd be writing for a grant, but there's no guarantee we will get it. So yes, that's how, yes, you're right.
Thank you.
Just so that you know, the district attorney did come to Human Services in June, did come to them to discuss this, did express a desire to have more flexibility in the program, did definitely want the Human Services Board to do something different than what was currently happening. And so conversations with Deb was definitely, let's figure this out, because clearly this was something that had out, like she said, that it had moved beyond what was within the mission statement of Human Services, and justice has different requirements, so he did come to our committee. He did speak at length about some of the things he wanted to see. One of the things being he wasn't real comfortable with the program guidelines, so, this is a conversation that's been going on.
Who's the oversight committee for the DA's office?
you are.
We're it. That's why it's here.
Oh, goody.
Ron, I have a question also.
Yes.
Give me a minute. I actually have two, but the second one, maybe I think I just heard the answer, but I'd like to firm up the answer. The first question, no one has brought this up. How will this change affect the decisions made about who goes into the diversion program? And I'm not going to, I don't want to, I'm not trying to fish for an answer. I've heard, the rumor I've heard is that there have been quite a bit of controversy about some people saying there's just way too many people being shunted into the diversion program, and other people disagreeing with that. And so it seems like by transferring this responsibility, we're also transferring the ability of someone to decide who goes into who goes in or who is not in. And I'd like to know how that's the question. I'm not sure which of you could answer this.
I'll answer from my perspective, and then Mandy can answer from hers. So at this point, the Human Services is the gatekeeper of which diversions we will supervise. The district attorney can always do diversions for whoever they want, and we will only supervise this group of people. So what has really happened is that it's put Human Services in an awkward spot of trying to support the one side that says only so many certain type of people should be in diversion, and trying to support that, and the district attorney saying, I have the authority to do what I need to do in terms of prosecution. And it's created a lot of tension, and that it's really unhealthy for our departments working together. So to answer your question, the party that will then supervise that will be the CJCC and this body here, versus myself and the Human Services Board, who really probably shouldn't be in that role.
But this body isn't going, I'm cutting you off.
That's okay.
And, okay, before I interrupt, I will stop and listen, hear Mandy.
So all of our diversions that we do currently have, they are agreed upon between our office and the defense, and then have to get approved by the judge. If they're not approved by the judge, then we don't do the diversion. They all go through the court system. We present it to the judge, and he makes the final decision on if the diversion is acceptable. So it's not, we just don't put somebody on a diversion. It has to be approved by the judge first.
But if the judge then maybe he's making the final decision, but he's probably strongly influenced by whatever recommendations the DA office makes, right? I'm just looking for who's going to be primarily responsible for deciding who goes into the diversion program and who does not. It sounds like Human Services will be out of the process, and most of the burden for making that decision will be on the DA's office, since the DA then recommends to the judge. And I was going to interrupt before. I said, well, this committee certainly isn't going to sit here and look at, I don't know what, case histories or something like decide, 30 of them a month and decide which person goes into the program or not. So the judge is going to make that decision based mainly on what he hears from the DA's office. Correct?
Correct.
And the second question, the budget business. So this is totally out of Human Services budget.
Yeah, it comes out of non-lapsing accounts, so it doesn't, those funds they're just sitting there, they aren't earmarked for any use other than for just justice services. So it's not going to have a detrimental effect on our budget, and it's a resource that we could provide to the district attorney's office to make this transfer happen. Because we've gone back and forth, and we've always struggled with how to make this happen, and so this seemed to be a resource that we could use to put these pieces together.
But you're talking
It's
about a
one-time
one-time
money.
transfer. So in the future, the DA's budget will probably, that's where we will see this expenditure.
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully with grant funding, but there's no guarantee.
Thank you.
And this will have to be, I mean, the DA will have to have this in the 2022 budget.
Right.
Right, okay.
Did you have another question, Mr. Schreiner?
No, I just said one time in reference to
Yeah.
what Tim mentioned.
Any other questions?
And John is in recovery court, or he'd have been here, so.
Could I ask, Mandy, what is your position in the DA's office? What's your official title?
I'm the paralegal in the office and office manager.
You're speaking right now for Mr. Sasha?
Yes.
Thank you.
He's the one that actually sent me down here.
Okay, no, just want to know where the chain of command goes.
Deb, you feel the need to read this resolution?
I assume you're all literate, so I
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the resolution.
Motion to accept, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Tellefson.
Didn't vote yet.
Any other questions first?
My only question is, I forgot to ask ahead of time, is somebody recording the meeting? You're Carol?
I'm
Okay,
Carol.
Thank you. I should have asked that first, so.
That's why I asked you to bring the resolution first, so that I could get that, so we could get it signed, because I don't know if that was happening.
Gotcha. Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carried.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to start signing it. This is the official one.
Is
Okay.
that the one that has Human Services
Yeah,
signatures?
yeah, and those are original signatures, 5 different kinds of ink there.
Okay.
Thank you for
Pass that around.
Ron, I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll sign this before.
You can
we
hang
go.
around if you want.
It's all kind of fun stuff now. Thank you. See ya.
Did you think I was just like typing emails this whole time, or what?
Yeah, I wasn't. I'll admit, I multitask when I should be really paying attention, so.
I'm dawned.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I take, my husband texted me Monday night, and he said, are you on email? I'm taking minutes from the meeting from my personal cell, thank you.
Oh.
And shut down my email. It was my county email, I should finally open.
I am, because then I'll take you to the next committee.
Going up lately? Over the building?
eyes aren't open yet from this morning, that's not a good sign, is it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys all have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Discussion and possible action on monthly department and jail activities / concerns, questions regarding monthly vouchers.
I don't have any questions about vouchers, I guess. You want to start out there, and then I'll do the general operations.
Okay,
Yeah, I guess the questions would be, if you had any questions on the vouchers, correct?
right.
I don't.
Nobody has any questions? Discussion of general operations.
All right, so just a few things here. We don't have remote access. I thought Tanya was going to appear up here remotely, but in any regard, I don't have much to report from jail that I didn't tell you Monday night, so. So, that being said, let me find my document here.
I did have a question for somebody who asked me to ask this.
Yep.
Citizen that called me, and I started thinking about it, actually, I had that question too. Is there a way we could put information out about when it's appropriate to call 911 and when they should call the non-emergency? Because people are like not sure when they should what, and I guess even like with injunction, do we call 911 when it's happened? Do we call non-emergency if the offender's not on scene? So yeah, I don't know if that's out there, and I haven't found it yet.
I don't know if it makes much difference.
Well, that's, if people could get like those,
So much easier
a list.
to push 911 than it is to dial all those other numbers.
And I hesitate doing it, and then when I do, I always think, and they go, oh, no, you should call 911. It's a moving target.
That's a very good suggestion. I'll put a public service message out there, because it doesn't seem like too many people are scared to not call 911 when they shouldn't, but a lot of people are scared to call 911 when they should. They don't, so that's a great idea, and we'll do that. We'll put a public service message out on Facebook, and maybe even Deb would put a little article in the Times about it or something, so.
And if we could just put it on the website generally
Yep.
on your page,
Yep.
you know, a reference chart or something.
Yep. Nope, that would be a great idea. So general operations, I don't have a lot. I'll just, so I'll touch on our accident data for June. So in the month of June, we had 33 car deer accidents called into the sheriff's office. We don't necessarily respond to all of them, but we keep track of how many calls we get. We did have 13 property damage crashes that are outside of the deer. 15 injury crashes, which is a significant jump from each of the 5 previous months. And we had another motorcycle versus deer fatality up on County Road O just here a week and a half ago. I touched on that at the board meeting the other night. So 33 non-reportable events called in for a total of 62 motor vehicle related incidents called into the sheriff's office in the month of June, which is a little bit above average, but not a lot, nothing alarming. I talked a little bit about this Monday night, but because of the number of crashes that both involve both alcohol and or drugs in 2020 on Highway 93, that resulted in a substantial number of fatalities, we have worked with the Highway Department and the State Patrol to set up an enforcement detail later the end of this month. And what that is first of all, the State Patrol come down here and they used mapping equipment to plot out on the roadway where the Highway Department will paint marks. And that's been done a week ago, or within the last week anyway. The Highway Department got those marks painted on the north section of Highway 93. And the detail involves the State Patrol coming down here with an airplane pilot, and they do all the speed measuring from the air, and we have response vehicles strategically placed along the highway to actually make the stops of those vehicles that are determined to be speeding. So it's probably once or maybe twice a year that we would do something like this when Highway 93 South is done. We'll probably paint some marks out there to do a similar detail. I don't know that we have even close to any other highways that we have the traffic complaints and incidents that we do on the Highway 93 stretch there. So we're going to pay a little bit more attention to it because of the numbers of crashes, in particular fatalities that we've had on that highway, so.
Have we had any data on, I guess, the migration of traffic? Because 93 handles a lot more traffic now than it ever has in the past. And the changes, I think that is continuing to increase traffic flow on 93.
I suspect we could get that data. That the Department of Motor Vehicles has those, you see the rubber hoses out there on all highways. So I suspect they have, I would think they do it annually, but they'd have a report available to us that I have not seen it, but I suspect it's out there.
Well, anybody who drives 93 knows there are certain times of the day where it is dangerous.
I would thank the chair for taking some initiative or doing this, because I do drive it regularly. I try to avoid 93 because it is so bad. There is so much traffic on that stretch of road, but that's my shortest route to Eau Claire. So of all the committee members, I'm probably the one who uses it far away the most.
Just from a personal standpoint.
You drive it every day?
Well, I actually come down to you a lot.
Do you? Yeah, you avoid it.
Yeah. I don't have a radar. I don't enforce traffic laws, except for if they would pass me in a no passing zone, which is a big complaint out there. But from a personal standpoint, when a close family member of mine was looking for employment here a couple of years ago, I just cringed when the interviews down in Arcadia came up, because it's a scary road, and at the times when people go to and from work is when it's the worst, of course, and so yes, we are going to be paying a lot more attention out there, and hopefully we see some good results from it. So
you need speed bumps the whole way. Honest to God, people start coming down. It's a long slope down. It must be 5-6 miles downhill, and people just, when you're going south.
Yep.
And people tend to, I remember driving home from when I was teaching in Oliva, I'd put it on cruise to keep myself from speeding. Of course, there's just a tendency to just keep going faster and faster and faster.
Yep.
And there was, I was not under the influence of anything, but I was just going too damn fast. So it's I don't know, it's something about the topography really lends itself to speeding and the dangerous situation. Then there is so much traffic on that road. Okay,
yeah. I'll find that for the next meeting. I'll get a traffic pattern report for the next meeting and share that with you. So I had a thought there as you were talking too about this, but if it comes back to me, I'll mention it again. So.
Nothing else on operations?
And so I just want to report that we have a very high needs problematic inmate in our jail right now. He has filed for a restraining order against my jail captain, which was denied. My hearing was set anyway, and after that, and between the denial and hearing, he has dropped his restraining order. But he has.
Still on the calendar though, isn't it?
I just heard yesterday that that he is going to drop it. I don't know if the courts have recognized that yet or not. So
I know that they got the letter asking it, but it's still on the calendar. Okay.
This same inmate was being housed in Juneau County and did the same thing down there, which resulted in us having to go get him and bring him back here. Again, down there it was denied. He is filing, I couldn't even explain, many electronic grievances every day to our jail staff, and now is threatening to file a civil lawsuit against the county. So I'm confident that Tanya and the staff up there are responding appropriately to everything, and that there are no intentional issues going on up there. So he's just one of those inmates, and I'm a little leery because we did have another person in this county file a restraining order against one of our deputies because of they weren't satisfied with his response to a complaint that she had. again, it was dismissed, but I'm leery that there's something out there telling people this is the latest fad. Let's start filing restraining orders against law enforcement. I don't know if it is or not, but I'm a little bit leery about it, so.
How long will this individual be with you?
He was just sentenced on a crime, but he's on probation, awaiting revocation. Until that happens, he will be in our jail. And a jailer, a correction officer, reported to me day before yesterday that he knows how to keep stalling that as well. He keeps firing attorneys or whatever it takes to keep stalling that revocation hearing. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more now this week and see what we can do to hasten that process. Again, it's one of those things where it wears on employees, and I'm scared that as the longer he's here, the more damage is going to occur to the mental health of our employees. So, and because he's such high needs, he's being housed alone, so taking up space of others' beds in that same cell block.
Buy the book with everything.
Yeah. So, just quickly, we are going to be taking a look at a breath alcohol kiosk system that could be mounted in our jail lobby up there, where people who have to do breath alcohol samples for say recovery court or as a condition of probation or whatever, they could just come to the facility here, blow into the machine. There's a user fee for it. They have to pay for it. We realize revenue from it. We're going to have just a quick demo of that today at 11 o'clock. I won't be there, but Tanya and Joan will be taking a look at that. I've seen it at conferences, and I think it is something that we could take some serious look at here. So I'll keep you in the loop on that. And the last thing I have is to let you know what's happening in the world of purchasing squad cars. COVID has made it difficult to buy a car. Through our local dealership, I cannot order a 2021 vehicle anymore. I did talk to Ewald out of Madison, which holds the state contract. Until Friday, or the 30th, they can still order the 2021s. Pischke Motors down in West Salem actually has 4 squad cars set on their lot, ready to go, and they're all comparable priced. So I purchased 2 of them from West Salem. I don't like doing that because the warranty work has to be done locally, and I believe in local, but I just want to make you aware that I did have to go outside. Otherwise, the 2022s, I can't even order them yet, and they don't go into production until December, and they probably, I'm guessing, based on what happened early this year, I'm sure it's a 3 or 4 month lead time on them. So I made the decision to purchase 2 off the lot in West Salem, and I'll be working with Ewald on probably 1 more, and then we'll see how this resolution goes through, and perhaps getting a 3rd one off of the lot in West Salem. So I have every intention of purchasing local again this fall when the time comes, but right now I'm having trouble because you can't order them, and they aren't even taking specs bids on them yet. So
What does Pischke sell, Dodge?
the Durango, yeah,
Okay.
that's the one we've been using. The last one I bought from him was 32,000. The 2021s now are 35. And it's very consistent with what I see with, if I ordered one from Ewald and Madison and then add the options, it's the same. And this one is sitting there already with the options, so. So I just want to get you up to date on where we're at with that, so.
Pischke's a good company, I've done for years, so.
Yeah, they absolutely, they've treated us right, I think. They honor the state pricing, but because they have the squad cars on the lot, ready to go, there is a little bit of a convenience there, and they charge a little, like $400 or $500 above the state pricing contract. I think it's reasonable. I've been happy with their service with us down there, so.
It makes you feel better. I believe they have a couple employees who live in Trumpealeau County.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, again, they are close to local, I guess, and it seems like any county around us could have taxpayers from our county working there, so. So I gave the jail numbers report Monday night at the county board meeting. Nothing's changed on that, I guess, so unless you have any questions, that's pretty much what's going on in the sheriff's office. Since Dustin's here, I'll just let you know that I have asked him to occasionally, every few days, take the drone up and monitor the progress of the building, so we have maybe a little bit of a movie to put together when it's all said and done. I thought that'd be kind of neat to see the progress when,
We have a property, Randy's on it, property meeting late, not next week
End of the
sometime.
month.
End of the month, I know, 29th. It'll be next week sometime.
Thursday, the 29th.
Yeah.
Thursday, yeah.
And I hope, I don't know, we'll see the bid pack then, or, so that.
they'll have the bid pack to go out.
Yeah, right, it'll be the second meeting in July, so it's a unusual situation, so I really don't know, I haven't talked to Chuck, I don't know exactly what's on the agenda, but I'm hoping that it is moving the bid pack forward.
Don't fly over with the chainsaws.
Chainsaws.
What? Chainsaw?
The tree.
Oh. I thought there'd be a lot of blowback when they took these trees down out here, and dispatch, the only one I heard from in the whole community was Carmen, so it was so sad that nice colorful tree came down. But, yeah, I imagine I don't know if it's one or two that'll be coming down over there, but the one isn't a real nice tree. I mean, it's kind of an ugly tree.
Overhanging the
But,
sidewalk right now is dying, but
Yeah.
nobody knows that yet.
Yeah.
The roots are all been tore up.
Yeah.
And there's a rocky spot in the center. So
yeah, that's the one. I mean, we're not really losing anything there, and
No,
So-
and if you're anywhere over 6 feet tall, you got a duck to get underneath
Yeah.
it anyway, so.
when is that gonna start?
It's supposed to be starting here soon, because they're gonna turn that into a park anyway.
Right. Yep. Yep.
That's
Okay.
something we definitely need a.
I have a question for you after the meeting.
Okay.
Set next meeting date and time. Is it Wednesday again? Would that be the 18th?
Can we do, let's see, not the third Wednesday?
The
We do the
18th?
second or the fourth?
Second, I can do the 4th. I'm gonna be,
Okay, the second, that would be August 11th.
I won't be here the second.
I won't either.
I think there's other committee on the second.
The 4th is okay, if you want to do it,
25th?
or 25th, the 4th Wednesday, yeah, the 25th, yeah.
And you won't be here?
I don't know that yet for sure. We're supposed to go back the 23rd, but I don't know if we're going that whole week or not. But
Why can't we do it the 18th?
Huh?
Something's going on the 18th, wasn't it? You said?
I won't be here on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason I said it, is
Okay.
if we can switch it.
Yeah, I won't be here on the previous week, so I guess no matter what we do, somebody's going to be
gone.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be gone.
If you still want to do it the 18th, you can do it the 18th, I just won't be.
Yeah, I prefer the 18th, but of course I hate missing Randy, but
Can you repair remotely,
There are greater tragedies, right?
well, I'll have to bear it stoically. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, he's going.
Yeah, I'm a stoic, yes.
Same.
Can you get a computer signal from the boat out then, or not?
I wish it was on
Oh.
at 9 o'clock?
18th at 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 18th?
Yes.
Then after that, after August, do they have to go back to afternoon meetings again?
Well, I'm going to find that out. That, in August, I'll find that out, because I'm hoping that I can get out of there for the morning, but I'll be able to find out for sure, so I didn't want to guess ahead of time. If that'll work better, I'll try hard to get that.
Yeah, I would really prefer the morning meeting.
Yeah, same.
I will see what I can do.
Before the day has a chance to go to hell.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
We're going to start earlier
Instead of
than
the
9.
middle of the
then.
Yeah.
So just to get back to clarify with the squad car damage, you want me to just discuss this with Jim? There's no formal action taken yet, or?
Right.
Well, the
Okay.
minutes say that you were gonna advise him to see if the homeowner's insurance will cover it, and it says information only, no action. So that's
And then if it does not, then bring it back to the August meeting and decide what to want
Is that
to
what
do.
everybody feels accurately is what happened?
Yes. That's what happened, and I think the mood of the committee for your benefit, is that we really think we do need to get the money from, that we should not absorb this.
How he pays it is up to him.
Right, but I'm certainly not eager to sue the deputy or something like
Yeah.
that, but we do need to recover the money.
And maybe it's too early to discuss this, but I would suspect that payments would be, you could probably work something out if it had to and type of thing.
Payment plan?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, okay, and then I'll get Paul to make the official ordinance or resolution as soon as he can, and he'll circulate it with you guys to get the signatures, correct? Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, the minutes do reflect that as well, that we'll have to sign it when an official formalized one is there.
I have nothing else.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, you can get glasses that help you see close up there, Ron.
I have bifocals, but they don't work. I don't use them anymore.
Make it confusing.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 10:06.
Sheriff, my question for you, it's non-controversial, so you can relax. Do you remember, do you have any recollection of the price